President Donald J. Trump is in the White House, but instead of unity after Charlie Kirk's brutal assassination, America just witnessed something sickening. TMZ, you may have heard of them, the outlet built on catching everybody else red-handed, just got caught themselves. Their own employees erupted in celebration the moment the news broke that Charlie Kirk was dead. And when the outrage hit, Harvey Levin scrambled with one of the most pathetic excuses that you've ever heard. Oh no, they weren't cheering Kirk's death. They were just watching a car chase. Really? That's the lie that we're supposed to swallow now? Yeah, sure. Anybody buying that? If you're buying that, drop a 1 in the comments down below. If you think he's just full of crap, drop a 2. And so right now, right when you thought it couldn't get any more disgusting, you got Gavin Newsom slithering into the spotlight. Suddenly, he's Mr. Calm and Reasonable, condemning violence, pretending to be the adult in the room. But roll back the tape, and this is the same Gavin Newsom who just a couple of weeks ago told his followers to punch Republicans in the mouth. The hypocrisy is jaw-dropping, guys, and the timing is no accident. So today I want to go ahead and connect the dots between TMZ's cover-up and Gavin Newsom's crocodile tears, and I promise you, by the end of today's video, you're going to see exactly why they're both terrified that the truth is coming out. So, guys, hit the like button, subscribe. I really appreciate the support because this isn't just about TMZ or even Gavin Newsom. This is about an entire corrupt system that hates just the hate is just oozing out of their pores. And this system that they're building, it fuels hate, it hides its fingerprints, and it thinks that you are too blind to notice. Well, we're going to notice today. All right, so let's go ahead and set the stage, folks. Donald J. Trump is president of the United States. That's right. The man that they said would never come back, the man that the media tried to bury, he is back in the Oval Office leading this nation. And under his leadership, Americans are seeing strength restored, borders secured, and the economy climbing. But while Trump is leading, what's happening in the world of media and the radical left? Oh, it's nothing but chaos, hypocrisy, and worst of all, hatred on full display. Because just days after the shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk, arguably one of the most influential young conservative voices in America, we're not just talking about grief anymore. We're talking about betrayal. We're talking about the ugly truth spilling out of the institutions that claim to just report the news. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was 31 years old, a fighter, a builder, a man who dedicated his entire life to amplifying conservative voices and inspiring the next generation. And in just a moment, when America should have been uniting in mourning, what happened? TMZ, yes, same outlet that made its name shoving cameras into the faces of celebrities, the same outlet that profits off of catching people in their worst moments, was caught in its own disgrace. Because the very second that the news broke that Charlie Kirk was dead, employees inside TMZ's newsroom, they didn't pause, they didn't go silent, they didn't bow their heads. No, they cheered, they laughed, they celebrated. Think about that for a moment. A man had just been assassinated, a young family left shattered. This is a movement left without one of its brightest voices, and these so-called professionals, they're sitting in one of the biggest media companies in America. They broke out in celebration. It wasn't just one person either. It wasn't some nervous chuckle. Eyewitnesses said it was loud. It was euphoric. And then, only then did management scramble, realizing that the cameras were rolling, realizing that the mics were hot. I mean, you could see the panic. Shut it down. Be quiet. People are watching. But by then it was too late. The mask had already slipped. And this is where they need to be. Guys, we need to be crystal clear about this, okay? That reaction, that celebration, that wasn't an accident. It wasn't bad timing. It was the truth boiling over. It was the culture inside TMZ spilling out in real time. A culture marinated in contempt for conservatives. A culture where the death of someone like Charlie Kirk is not a tragedy, but a victory for them. So let me ask you, America, what kind of newsroom cheers a political assassination? What kind of people find joy in that kind of thing? Simply because the victim doesn't share their political viewpoints. That's not journalism. That's not media. That is pure hate. That is pure unfiltered hate. And now it's been caught for the world to see. Your Medicare plan doesn't just affect you. It is a huge part of the legacy that you leave your family. When coverage fails, it often ends up involving children and grandchildren because they end up carrying the burden. And that's not fair for them, is it? This is why I partnered with Chapter. They help you choose a Medicare plan that protects you and the family that you love and who loves you as well. Now, one viewer told me the other day, she said, calling chapter gave me peace of mind because my kids are no longer going to have to worry about being stuck with my medical bills. And I love that. So let me ask you, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Stress and bills or peace of mind? Now, most people, they're securing their peace of mind already by calling the phone number down at the bottom of your screen right here, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. The telephone number is 909-563-8279. And of course, it is totally free for the Ron Yates community. So now let's move to what came next, okay? Because once the outrage hit, TMZ went into full-blown panic mode. Harvey Levin, the face of TMZ, the man who built his empire on blasting everyone else's dirty laundry, rushed to clean up his own mess. And what excuse did he land on? The weakest, most insulting cover story you've ever heard. He looked straight into the camera and said, no, our staff wasn't celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. We were just watching a car chase. A car chase? Really? That's the story? Anybody else buying that? Let's go and break this down, okay? First, this wasn't some high-speed O.J. Simpson chase with helicopters overhead and the whole story, the whole country glued to the screen. No, this was a slow, uneventful roll through Temple City. Nothing exciting, nothing dramatic. And yet, Harvey wants you to believe that a handful of TMZ employees suddenly screamed and clapped like they had just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Give me a break. Ain't nobody buying that nonsense. So here's what really happened. At that exact moment, they started cheering. The announcer covering the car chase said the words, "President Trump has announced Charlie Kirk is dead. He was shot in Utah." Boom. Right there, guys. At that moment, that's when TMZ's newsroom erupted. So let me ask you, were they cheering the sedan rolling through the intersection? Or were they really reacting to the death of a conservative icon? The timing makes it completely obvious. The excuse is laughable, and Harvey knows it. So, but it gets worse here, okay? Because it wasn't just, if you know anything about TMZ, you know their entire empire is built on surveillance. Cameras everywhere, hidden mics, paparazzis lurking in every corner. Their business model is gotcha. Right. They catch celebrities drunk, politicians slipping, athletes saying things that they shouldn't say. TMZ doesn't miss a moment. So why now? Why, when it comes to their own employees, why is there suddenly no footage, no audio, no proof? Why are we told just trust Harvey? Well, the answer I think is simple, because the footage exists and it would show exactly what we already know. TMZ's employees were not cheering a car chase. They were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And if that tape ever came out, Harvey Levin's empire would crumble. Think about the hypocrisy. For decades, TMZ has shamed people, destroyed reputations, and ruined lives by rolling the tape. We've got the footage. Here's what really happened, right? But when it's their own house under the spotlight, suddenly the rules change. Suddenly it's, oh, no. You can't see what you didn't see what you thought you saw. Yeah, sorry, Harvey. You can't have it both ways. If you got nothing to hide, go ahead and release the footage. Roll the tape. Let America see that, oh, we were all wrong. You were right. Prove your point. But you won't, because you know exactly what it would reveal. And that, folks, this is why TMZ's credibility is collapsing. They have been caught red-handed. The empire that made a fortune catching others in lies has just been busted in its own cover-up. And this time, there's no spin strong enough to save them. So let's talk about what's really driving all of this, because TMZ's reaction didn't happen in a vacuum. Former employees have already spilled the truth. TMZ's newsroom is crawling with hateful energy, just all sorts of bad juju, angry progressives. That is the energy there. It's a toxic bubble where mocking isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated. And so when Charlie Kirk was gunned down, that culture spilled out for the world to see. Think about it. If your entire office is marinating in anti-conservative rage, is it really any surprise that some of them would cheer? This wasn't just a bad look. This was the mask slipping. The hatred's just so freaking deep. It's so normalized that they couldn't even hold it back for a minute. And what happened next? Enter Gavin Newsom. All of a sudden, he's front and center, delivering a polished, pre-scripted statement, condemning violence, offering condolences, trying to step into this role as the calm adult in the room. Now, for a second, if you didn't know any better, you might almost believe this guy. But you and I know better, because when Gavin Newsom tries to look presidential, when he acts horrified at political violence, the mask slips even further. Here is a man who spent months fanning the flames, ratcheting up rhetoric to please the radical left base. This is a man who told his followers, "We're fighting fire with fire," and promised to punch Republicans in the mouth. Okay? And so now he wants us to believe that he's shocked by violence. Please, come on, man. We ain't that stupid. Okay? Folks, that's not leadership. That's theater. That is spin. That is the exact same playbook that TMZ is using. Cover up, distract, pretend to be above it all, right? So let's go ahead and peel this mask back a little bit further, shall we? Can we do that? Can we peel the mask back a little bit more? All right. Because Gavin Newsom's condemnation of violence, it sounds real polished until you remember his own words. On his own podcast just a few weeks ago, Newsom bragged, "We're fighting fire with fire. We're going to punch these sons of in the mouth." You know what he said. So that's not a slip of the tongue. That's not taken out of context. That's who he is. That's what he tells his base when the cameras aren't polished, when the spotlight isn't on. You see what I'm saying here? So let me ask you, how do you look America in the eye, pretend to be horrified at violence, while your own words are literally calling for fists in the face of Republicans? You can't. It's hypocrisy to the greatest extent. This is insulting. He thinks we're complete fools, and Gavin Newsom's not alone. This is way bigger than him, guys. This is the Democrat playbook. Nancy Pelosi once asked why there weren't uprisings all over the country. Kamala Harris raised bail money for rioters who torched cities coast to coast. Maxine Waters literally told her supporters to corner Trump officials in public to make sure that they were not welcome anywhere. Wow. And Joe Biden himself, he joked about taking Trump behind the gym to beat him up. So let's not forget Chuck Schumer threatening Supreme Court justices by name, standing on the steps of the court itself. These are not fringe comments. These are not slips. This is systemic. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up, guys. Are you seeing the pattern? They provoke, they incite, they fuel the fire. Then they, the minute that the flames get a little bit out of control, then they want to wag their little fingers and shake their heads and act shocked. Oh, we condemn violence. No, you don't. You built it. You fed it. You normalized it. This is why Gavin Newsom's little speech rings hollow, because his fingerprints and the fingerprints of his whole party, they're all over this climate of hate. So here's the bigger picture, guys. What we're living through right now, it's not random. It's not coincidence. This is what I call the radicalism snowball. For years, Democrat politicians, the media, Hollywood, academia, they have all been rolling this snowball downhill, packing it tighter and tighter with every speech, with every headline, with every Republicans or Nazi smear. And every time they lose an election, every time Trump wins, that snowball grows bigger and faster and more dangerous. And now this snowball has hit flesh and blood. It has taken the life of Charlie Kirk, one of the most influential young conservative voices in America. Do not let anybody tell you this just happened, okay? This is the logical endpoint of years of conditioning, years of rhetoric, years of turning half of this country into an enemy to be hunted down rather than the neighbors to debate. So here's the kicker. Both TMZ and Gavin Newsom are caught red-handed playing the same game. TMZ's lying about a car chase. Gavin Newsom's lying about his stance on violence. Both provoke, both deny, both cover up. They think you're just too stupid to connect the dots. They think you're just going to go ahead and, deep throat and swallow Harvey Levin's excuse and Gavin's crocodile tears. No, we're not going to do this. The timing is just too freaking perfect. The mask has slipped too far. They're exposing themselves. This isn't just hypocrisy. This is strategy. They create the chaos. They pretend to be horrified by it while secretly benefiting from the destruction. TMZ tried to spin, Newsom tried to spin, but this time America saw it. So here's the truth, folks, and this is the truth that they fear. It's not just a few TMZ employees giggling in the back room. It's not just Gavin Newsom trying to reinvent himself as Mr. Calm and reasonable. It's the entire left-wing ecosystem. The media, the politicians, the universities, Hollywood. They have spent years normalizing hatred of conservatives. They call us fascists, racist, threats to democracy. They dehumanize us, and they act shocked when some radicalized follower pulls the trigger. Don't let them fool you. This is not an accident. This is a strategy. Divide, demonize, provoke, then deny. And when the blood is on the ground, They backpedal, release polished statements, pretend their hands are clean, but the fingerprints, they're everywhere. This is why they're terrified, because under President Donald J. Trump, this corruption is being dragged into the light. The cover-ups don't work anymore. The spin doesn't work anymore. TMZ lied. Gavin Newsom spun, but America sees right through it. So here's the call to action. Stay vigilant. Don't let them hide behind excuses and crocodile tears. Hold them accountable. This fight is not just about Charlie Kirk. As tragic as his loss is, this fight is about the culture of hate that killed him and the elites who nurtured it. And let me tell you something, guys. America is not going to forget. Not now, not ever.